We're starting a brand new chapter in Galatians, Galatians 2, verses 1 and 2. I'm going to do 2 verses today. This is also a new section header in my Bible. It says the apostles except Paul. So Paul's kind of, as we left off in chapter 1, he was talking about there's only one good news, and he came through, and his message came from Christ, and he walks you through the Judean churches and what they believed about him. And so this one's called the Apostles Except Paul, and it says, then 14 years later, I went back to Jerusalem again. So he was ministering to the Gentiles, remember, this time with Barnabas. Barnabas, his name means son of encouragement. We'll go over that here in just a minute. And Titus came along too. I went there because God revealed to me that I should go. We're in verse 2 now. While I was there, I met privately with those considered to be leaders of the church and shared with them the message I had been preaching to the Gentiles. Again, he had been preaching to the Gentiles. We know that he built and planted Gentile churches. He said, I wanted to be sure that we were in agreement for fear that all my efforts had been wasted and I was running the race for nothing. All right, some interesting metaphors there, interesting terminology there that he uses, the running the race for nothing. He talks about that as he wanted to make sure that it wasn't in vain that he was preaching to the Gentiles, that they accepted it. So he goes back, Barnabas, his name means son of encouragement. It's interesting here that we still see Barnabas and Paul together. We know that they eventually had a split according to the book of Acts. So apparently whatever this happened, some believe this was before the council. Some believe this is actually in reference to the Council of Jerusalem where they made their statements. I actually believe that it was actually that, but I don't think it matters one way or another what if this was the council or if it was an event before that. In verse 2, he submitted himself to them, responding to his call to the Gentiles. He wanted to make sure that his what he was doing was not considered to be vain by them. He had a revelation by God. Obviously, his revelation is his conversion, but he submitted it to others to judge. I think that's a great advice for us as we walk in today. Obviously, I'm a spirit-filled, Pentecostal, charismatic believer, that the revelations that I have can't be outside of God's word. They can't be in disagreement with God's word. They must be submitted to that. But also, Paul submitted his revelation directly to those leaders in the church. He wanted to make sure that he was submitted. God told him to go. He met them in private. He didn't make up, again, public display of this. And he wanted to make sure he was running his race for no reason, that it wasn't for no reason that this metaphor here is like he's running as to win the prize. And Paul talks about that in other scriptures, like we got to run like that way. We got to run to win. And he wanted to make sure in his life that he was running his race to win. It was not for no reason. It wasn't just for fun. It was to hit the goal. So we'll pick up there after these verses here, verses 1 and 2. We'll pick up again in verses 3 and 4, 5, 6, and continue on here under this heading and section. If you have any questions, let me know. Any comments, any rebukes or critiques, let me know. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one.